Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Conversations with Anasa. So happy to see you all. Let's start with meditation. So take your attention inside, down below your belly button. And let's keep going today down to the tip of the tailbone. And as you breathe, see if you can feel the tip of your tailbone going back on the out breath and forward on the in breath. And as you do this, allow your body to quiet. And now we're going to imagine that we're standing under a shower of white light that is cleansing everything. And now we're going to add to it something slightly different, and that's its opposite. As we exhale, we are going to bring up black light from the earth, which is equally cleansing and a different kind of cleansing. So we're going to, in a way, become our own yin yang symbol, the symbol with the black and the white and the two dots of each in it. We are going to become that. So we breathe in the white light. We fill our body with it, every cell, and we fill our outer, every part of our ethereal body as well. And then on the exhale, we imagine we are bringing the the darkness of the earth also into ourselves, which is equally healing energy. It's the reverse. Both the light and the dark heal. And it's very important that we don't fear the dark. That's why we're bringing it in, because the dark is equally healing. We all know that. And so attaching to one polarity is a mistake. So we're going to bring in the white light on the inhale. And exhaling, we're bringing in the darkness through our feet. Understanding that it's the other side of wholeness. And we don't reject anything. We embrace everything as love itself. Breathing in the white light. Exhaling, bringing up the darkness through our being. Equanimity is being in balance with all of it. we cannot grow without embracing our darkness. We absolutely cannot. And now, once again, in your tailbone, feel for the stillness between the breaths. Feel that stillness as a balance point. The quiet within the total acceptance of what is. Breathing in the cleansing white light. Exhaling the cleansing darkness, completely running it through ourselves and out the top of our head. Again, inhaling the white light. And you can do this practice inhaling the darkness and exhaling the white light. There's no difference. One is not better than the other. The purity is in the space between the breaths. That's the equanimity, the balance point. When you're ready, gently allow your attention to come up to the space below the belly button. Feeling into that stillness. And understand that what we're really working on in this meditation is becoming conscious of the flow that already exists within us. Breathing in the white light. Exhaling up the darkness through our feet. all the way up and out. You may naturally feel your attention rise to the solar plexus. Allow it to settle there. Breathing in the white, exhaling the black. It's in this balanced reciprocal exchange in the stillness. Reaching for the space where nothing is desired and nothing is rejected. All parts are welcome in the balance point. Breathing directly into the solar plexus. Release any tension or heaviness through this breath that encompasses both the light and the dark. When you're ready, gently allow your attention to move to your heart center in the middle of your chest. Pulling down the white light through our system. Exhaling the black light through our system. Finding the balance point within ourselves. And now, staying in our hearts, we're going to inhale the darkness up from our feet. And exhale the light down. Inhale the darkness. Exhale the light. When you're ready, move your attention to your throat center. Feel for the stillness in the center of the energy center. Now feel through the roof of your mouth to the third eye. Breathing into that energy center. Feeling for the stillness between the breaths. Now feeling into the high heart at the top of the sternum, underneath the bone, underneath the point where the divot is in the bone. Feel into the high heart and allow the heart, the throat, and the third eye and the top of the head to all balance in the high heart. And now very consciously begin to embody the experience of peace inside yourself. Choose that experience. And now gently, as you're ready, there's no hurry, holding to our inner practice. Gently open your eyes without taking your attention outside, holding all your attention inside. Just slowly, gently open your eyes. So we're learning to cultivate this inner awareness as we participate. And gradually, gradually, we learn to hold our state no matter what. Holding to our attention inside. No matter what's happening outside. How may we serve this morning? I'm so happy to be with you. What's happening? Yes.
Well, that was a nice meditation. Took me a little bit to embrace it. Um,
Yeah, it's like diving into cold water.
yeah, it just offers this other perspective that is um, needed in accepting the deeper parts of ourselves, and yeah, it was nice. And the peace thing at the end, I saw this little girl with little pigtails, little blonde girl, walk into like a mother, just approach this symbol and just move to it. It was very sweet, very unexpected, and quite lovely. So, thank you for that new perspective on the dark because it's so true. These are parts I'm working with myself right now that I haven't retrieved before then around my father. And so it's really perfect for me this morning. Thank you.
Well, the darkness has so many gifts
Yeah.
as we face it and grow through it.
Mhm.
And in denying the darkness, it grows. And that's what we're seeing around us.
Mhm. Mhm.
It's this denial of darkness that has called it forth to
Mhm.
take over our lives because of our really boredom and complacence
Mhm.
and and unwillingness to embrace our own darkness
Yeah.
as a culture.
Mhm.
And so understanding that it's a much more mature view to sit in the stillness between the light and the dark, between all the opposites. And the opposites aren't inherently good or bad, they
Mhm.
just are. And in cultivating that equanimity, we come to peace, a different kind of peace.
Yes.
It's like an informed peace
Yes.
that doesn't require things to be one way or another for that peace, that calm, that acceptance, which in its essence is self acceptance with both a capital S and a small s in
Yeah.
the same moment.
Yeah. Love that.
Yeah. And as we come into that, then truly all parts are welcome. And, we no longer avoid or grasp after anything. Understanding that all of it, all of it is life. And the gift and the curse is that we're participating. But we do have a choice about where we participate from in ourselves. That's truly our only choice.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only choice that we have for
Mm-hmm.
sure,
Mm-hmm.
is where we are in ourselves. And, the intensity outside is ramping up.
Sure is.
So we're accelerating the our demand on all of you for maturity.
Mm-hmm.
That's what this embracing of both the light and the dark is about. Because
It.
you could feel as we started, oh yeah, there's something very right about this.
Mm-hmm.
There's something that's really a new balance. We're not looking to the light for purity,
Yeah.
which is pretty racist concept if you think about it.
True.
It's also, very sexist because the feminine is considered to be the earth and the moon, which are all about darkness.
Yeah.
And so, these are just polarities. They are just polarities. And always the balance point is in the center.
Mm-hmm.
All the polarities. And we make up, as human beings, we carry all these polarities within us.
Yeah.
And so to deny half of them because they're the wrong color or they, because they're uncomfortable
Yeah.
is saying that the out breath is more pure than the in breath, or the in breath is more pure than the out breath, or any, it's purity is in the center. Purity is seeing the whole. And
Absolutely. That is so beautiful. It, and it's such perfect timing for me. And I appreciate us working with that because it it brings the polarity, it widens things out, especially within ourselves too, in that embracing of all parts that are welcome.
we understand that in a way, because we perceive that we were victims in parts of our lives, that's a much easier view to accept than that we're perpetrators, which is the
Right.
side of it. And of course, we are both.
Hmm. Yeah. All parts.
All parts. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you. We welcome more feedback. We know this is a big change. We actually think this is the essence of Tantra. It's been largely used in a context of, sexual expression and rejection and, all of that. Tantra is much more radical than that. Tantra is the acceptance of the darkness. Having an equal place with the light. The night is not worse than the day. The absence of light is a polarity. And when we understand these things as polarities, and that equanimity is in the center, remember, Arjuna was a warrior. And he was refusing to go into battle because he didn't want to kill his family, the people he was related to. This is the battle we all go through in facing our darkness. And this is not, just history. This is being human. And for the first time in our lives, the forces of evil are in power. So it's important that we understand that polarities are about balance, and that we balance the ones in ourselves so that we are bringing some maturity to our responses. How may we serve? So if you remember, Krishna said, you have to fight. You're a warrior. It's your job. It is your duty. So we take that to mean that we have to live our values. We have to embody our values. We will all be asked to participate in resistance. And we can choose how we do that. There's talk about a national boycott of buying anything that's not essential to grind the economy to a halt. And there are other things like that being considered that we will be able to participate in our own ways over time.
Rebecca.
Yes.
um, so when you talk about our values and fighting and resisting through values, that's what I feel is keeping me from winning at the game of life are my values, because being an open heart and a trusting spirit, like those are the people who lose. And that's I'm shown that consistently. And so that's been the struggle.
What do those people lose? We don't understand what you're saying.
Great question.
And
Lose
give us an example. Who loses because of open-heartedness?
um, because I guess there's a lack of um, awareness of people's intentions. When you're trusting spirit, you are losing because you, by trusting yourself, you trust others.
What is it that we're expecting from others?
I
that that leads to betrayal of trust.
um what am I expecting of others?
And
Um
is it the expectations of what we're hoping to receive that may be false on the front side?
well, I don't know if it's expectation or like because I can communicate what it is that I am hoping for, I guess. And I know it's all about expectations, but the challenge is like how to not desire and also seek. Like if I'm seeking to create a life of purpose and meaning, I'm desiring something. And then I put myself out there hoping something I achieve something and then I feel like I'm losing because I'm not meeting those expectations.
You're all backwards. Okay, the first thing you do is you find something you love. You find something you really, really, really love, and
Mhm.
you pour your heart into that,
That's what I'm
into the
doing.
quality of that. And then you see what comes back. And, most relationships in our society are contractual. And when you understand that, it means that you're clear about your contracts on the front side and you don't build in unspoken expectations that will be disappointed. Like when you engage somebody in a contractual relationship, you say, I need this, and I'm willing to give this, and I expect this from you. You know, every business relationship that I have begins like that. I have this to offer and I expect this in return. And this happens before we even talk about what the quality of the interaction is going to be. There's a negotiation about expectations. And so what we see is that this part of, really being clear of what it is. First of all, there's an idealistic view that says, oh, I don't really need a contract because people are going to recognize my value.
Mm.
Just give to me. That is very naive and will get taken advantage of every time in this culture because it's a capitalistic culture. So you have to scrap that and begin with your own value in every contractual relationship. This is what I require. If you don't meet my requirements, that's okay. I'm going to go elsewhere.
Mhm.
And this will make a lot of those feelings of, betrayed idealism, this will satisfy those so
It,
that you see it on the front side and, not wasted energy down the road because nothing's coming back from a really valid and valuable effort that's been taken advantage of.
you nail it because I do know that I'm an idealist and I'm working on that.
Well, being an idealist is fine, but you have to be a realist when it comes to practical negotiations in being in the business world.
That is, do you have a resource? Because since I've been figuring everything out on my own, which is the worst way to do it, and I'm still learning, negotiating myself is definitely a weakness. And I've read books on how to negotiate, but it's like in practice, I don't have enough practice.
Well, it's not so much practice as it's making decisions about your value. You know, put a monetary value on your services before you offer them.
Hmm.
So that I will do this for you if you do this for me. This is the conversation you're not having before you offer your services.
Hmm.
You're waiting too late. You have to lead with that conversation in a business relationship. What happens, especially as women, is we get all tangled up in uh, uh, oh, we can have that conversation later.
Mhm.
And then we've already over fulfilled what the other person is expecting from us and asked for nothing.
Yes.
And then we feel taken advantage of. But we walked into it.
Mhm.
So this is the learning curve. You have to stop doing that.
Mhm.
To say, look, I have this to offer, but you have to give me back this. You have to agree to a contract before I'm going to fulfill my side of it.
Mhm.
We can't just expect that they're going to give respect our value. They're just going to take it and run.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's your value for yourself that's going to end this problem. It's not about saying the right thing. It's about having the right timing.
Mhm.
You have to you can't give freebies. That's
Mm-mm.
that's exactly that's you can't do it. You
Mhm.
can't afford it. Quite literally, you can't afford it, and that's the problem right there.
That is. Thank you.
So lead with your self-worth.
Mhm.
Lead with your value. And the universe will reverse this whole process. It's you that has to say, I'm worth it. And this is
That has been that is my the darkness is like to see my true to truly know myself, and I really have been working so hard on it, and I did not realize how much of an identity I did not understand. I didn't know.
we're shining the light
Mhm.
so you can see it. Your job, it's like Arjuna. You have to pick up your pen and write down your value and hand it to the other person before you do any work.
Mhm. Who is this you
I'm
just referenced?
sorry?
Who is it you just referenced?
Oh, the Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita. Do you know the story?
I know I read it in 10th grade, but I've not touched it since.
Well, it's worth reading
Okay.
because it's really, it's a spiritual text that's about war.
Hmm.
And 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 it's about Arjuna on the battlefield where he was going to have to fight his family. And he was either going to be killed or he was going to kill members of his family. There was no way around it. And he put down his sword and he said to Krishna, Krishna was the driver of his chariot. He said, I'm not going to fight. I can't kill my family. And Krishna said, it's your duty to fight. You're a warrior. You
Mm-hmm.
have to fight. This is your dharma and your karma, and you must do it. And this was in war.
Hmm.
And and so he did it, and he carried the day. And it's a timeless text.
A warrior.
It's worth reading again.
Yeah. I'm not a warrior. I'm a lover, not a fighter.
Uh, but you have to be both. In this life, you have to be both, especially now. We've had a pass for decades. Our entire lives, we've had a pass, but we don't get to pass anymore. We have to become warriors in whatever way it suits us at this moment.
I mean, if because I'm a non-consumer, so if that's I've always been a non, like I've been that for years. If that's one way of
There's
doing
no such thing as a
it, I
non-consumer.
only buy essentials. I don't buy frivolities.
Well, that's a different conversation. But we're going to go back to the lover versus warrior
Mhm.
because, of course, we understand that the essence of everything is love and that nothing happens without love.
Mhm.
But, that's the seasons. There's a time and a place for everything. we are in that place where it's time to be a warrior. Because we value a country where human beings are free and have unalienable rights, where to the pursuit of happiness, which requires some material accumulation for everybody, not just 1%. Requires access to minimum health care. Requires access to food for children, a place to live, a place to die. All these things are disappearing. And so, yes, we choose love. We choose love, and sometimes choosing love means we have to resist. When somebody's stealing from us, we say stop. When somebody's killing our children and our elders, we say stop. We say no. This is choosing love. And it's exactly why we brought up the paradox of the light and the dark. Because the balance point is in the center always. Nobody on this call would have chosen this battle. But we're here, so some part of us. So the first thing is to hold to ourselves, hold to the love, and to what we know is right inside ourselves. And, our moments to participate will arrive. And we'll choose them. That's the truth of it. And we have each other. We are so lucky. We are so lucky. And we're so lucky that the guides, they use every moment to teach. This paradox of light and darkness, and the in-breath and the out-breath, and the white light. This is it's so radical and so not radical at the same time, because instantly you can feel the rightness of it, and that the real purity is in the center of the balance. And when we're in that balance, we can see the highest from that balanced place. And with practice, we carry the Anousa temple within us so that in the heat of the moment, we can see what serves the highest. Because we've been practicing for a long time to know that in this moment, in this moment, in this moment, because everything changes. This is the one thing we can absolutely depend on, is that everything will change. And we have very little control over how and what around us changes. The only thing we have any control over is where we are in ourselves. And so this is one of the most important teachings, I think, for me personally, that I have ever received. So I've been doing all this running white light for a couple of years now. And suddenly when the darkness comes in, it's like, whoa. But of course, we become a living yin yang symbol. Dark, light, light, dark. It's all what we're made of. It's what life is. And in this total acceptance, we are free to meet the moment with whatever is required without a kind of clouded idealism that makes rules that are no longer appropriate. We are now fighting for all those we love. And we can fight with open hearts and bring joy and humor to the battle. There is nothing more disarming than joy and humor in the battle. We don't have to leave that at home. As a matter of fact, we desperately need it in ourselves so we don't get too heavy. So we bring that with our water and our face mask. What else? And we bring our joy. We can hold joy. We must hold joy.
have another question if no one else has anything. I've been hiding from the media. I don't know if I told you that already since before Obama was president. So I do that because that's how I feel safer. And that's how I can get through the world not being completely afraid. And so there's a lot that is going on right now that I'm not aware of, and that's on purpose. And I know that that probably offends a lot of people. And so I don't know how to resist other than just doing my best to get through the day with love. Because it's scary enough to be a single female on this planet.
Is there a question in there?
What is it? Because I don't know what you said. I guess you said the opportunity will arise, but I'm not looking, I'm looking to solve my own problems. I'm not trying to fix other people's. And so um, that may be the wrong approach, but that's just that's how I get through the day is just not the lack of awareness of what's outside of my control is best for me. Is there a question? Um, how if I want to know what's going on, what is the best resource? Because I hear people will tell me, but there's contrast in everything that people say. I guess I don't have a question. Do I have a question? Oh, that's a question. So I have a girlfriend that's very in tuned with politics, and she's telling me all these things, and she's avoiding groups of people for certain reasons, and she's trying to encourage me to also avoid groups of people where I'm like, but I just want to live my life. Isn't that right? Isn't that a right approach to just live your life? Or is it the right approach to hide? I'm hiding in one way, she's hiding in a different way. And neither one is right or wrong.
Well, that I mean, both things are right and both things that uh it's all very situational.
Mm-hmm.
And what we would encourage you to do is exactly what we said before. Find something you love,
Mm-hmm.
pour yourself into that, and do not offer it to anyone else until you have made a contract that your value will be reciprocated.
Okay.
And if you do that and you hold to the love in yourself as you engage the world, how to behave in circumstances will naturally arise from your dedication to what you're doing, to doing it with true quality, and receiving, creating the flow so that you're putting out and you're receiving at the same time. And when you get that in balance, then who to be with and who not to be with will take care of itself because you have orchestrated flow
Mhm.
in your life. Does that make sense? So these aren't things that you can sort of decide in advance. They will naturally arise because you yourself are creating reciprocal interchanges in your whole life.
Mhm.
And that's how you get to some balance and harmony outside yourself, is by first manifesting it inside yourself, by dedicating yourself to producing quality and then creating this reciprocal exchange
Mhm.
both inside and out. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
So then these other things which sound more like, social decisions, what to do in those situations will naturally evolve out of your own experience. And you will have your own opinion rather than questioning other people's opinions. Does that make sense?
Definitely.
Because it will be clear to you because of your dedication to your own quality, what is right for you to do in a particular situation.
Good. Thank you.
You're totally, totally welcome. I hope that answers helpful to you.
Mhm.
So we're coming to a time in our program where getting back to meditation feels really appropriate, to take our attention inside and see where we are compared to when we opened our eyes. Are we still in equanimity? That balance point in the center of the breath. And again, we're standing with the love of the white light, from the white light pouring down on us, and the darkness from Mother Earth rising up through our feet, embracing us with love. As we embody the balance of all forces, positive and negative, within ourselves, sitting in the equanimity of balance. Thank you so much for being here today. Went so fast. So much love to you all. Really, such a joy to be with you. Till we meet again, so much love.